All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Near Mint Conditions, Old Reader, New Reader. I'm back with the wonderful Gabby. Gabby, thank you for joining me again.
Thank you so
Also, your
much.
skin looks wonderful today.
Oh, thank you. I try to improve my skincare. I try.
We all
Thank
try.
you. Thank you.
Chat, I do have a new microphone. I don't know how I sound. Hopefully it's better than normal. But if it's too loud or whatever, just let me know. Because I can't tell from here.
I think you're pretty good, but
Good.
let us know, chat. What do you think?
Just let me know. Because I've been struggling for a while with these microphones and headphones and everything. So I bought a big boy to help out. This thing's huge. Anyways, that's not important. That's not what the show's about. We're not talking about any microphone. We are talking about Moon Knight. So I wanted to read some Moon Knight this month since the new show is coming out, and I want to be prepared. And Gabby, this is your only Moon Knight.
This is the only Moon Knight I've ever read. This is
Yeah.
my introduction to him.
And I've read one other Moon Knight, which is Jeff Lemire's run. And I still don't know exactly what his deal is, but I'm slowly picking up more. Jeff Lemire's run was very confusing. Yes, Roberto, thank you so much for your recommendation. I thought it was it's much easier to read than Lemire's run. I really enjoyed Lemire's run, art and all, but it definitely wasn't new reader friendly. Now, I'm not too certain this one is either. I think I have a lot of questions. I don't know about you, Gabby, but I still thought it was very clear and easy to follow. Like, there's obviously things here that I don't exactly know because Marvel runs forever. I don't know all the bits and pieces that got him here, right? But I feel like I understood kind of the story still,
Yeah,
so that was
me too.
I thought he was very clear. I immediately understood his archetype, kind of understood what he was trying to do, what he was coming from. So that still worked. And with comic books, it's all confusing. So, thank you, Jaden. And thanks to James for noticing my hair that I had done today. Thank you. Anyways, so normally I give a spiel about, the book we're reading, what Moon Knight is, blah, blah, blah. I don't know exactly how I can tell you, but we only read the first 5 issues of this, so that would be what's in the first trade, and also what is free to us as Marvel Unlimited subscribers, because I'm trying to be cheap. No, not cheap, frugal. So we just read the first 5 issues from Jed MacKay, and so far we kind of walk into where Moon Knight already has something going on. He's kind of got a base of operations. He's been fighting some vampires in the night as well as recruited some vampires to kind of work with him, and he's so gone cool. Full I'm a priest now. This is what I'm not trying to be my other personalities, because he does have dissociative identity disorder. He's like, I'm just being Moon Knight right now. I'm trying to lead a new church. I'm just trying to do what my God can't. And that's just to protect the people that are walking at night, to protect the people who are living at night in his city. And along the way, he ends up being challenged by that, by another person who's a servant of this God, who's like, no, you're not doing your duty. You shouldn't be the fist. It should not be you. So he's really trying to do all this. And amidst all of this, he's also talking with a therapist that's been assigned to him from the Avengers to kind of work with him through things. And that's been an interesting thing. So as we see him do these different things in his real life, we also see him talk to this therapist, and she's trying to get through him. And I don't know what's happened before this, but he does allude to the fact that he, his God came back, and he basically stood with his God against the Avengers and against Earth. So I think he's still kind of reeling from a lot of that. So that's what we're going into. And I hope we have some Moon Knight readers in here, because we can always use help. Roberto, I would appreciate it, because I still have questions about Moon Knight. But before I talk this to death, first I'd like to ask Gabby. First thoughts about our boy, Mark, aka Moon Knight, aka a whole bunch of other names.
I think he's really badass. I think I agree with you, Maddie. There's a lot that I still want to explore. A lot of questions I have still about his character, his powers, like his mission. There's a lot of questions I still have. But I think he's badass. His suit is awesome. I think he's
It's
epic. I
very
love
cool.
him so far. Going into it, I didn't really know much about him, but I did know about the show that's coming out. And I love Oscar Isaac. I think he's a great
Don't we
actor.
all?
So I was just like completely on board with the show. So I think after, hearing you and Kristen talk about reading Moon Knight, I was very interested and I just wanted to know what you guys were reading so I could read it as well. And I thought this was a great start. I mean, like you said, we're kind of like in the middle of things. He's already Moon Knight. He has the mission. But I think it was really easy to follow, like you said. It was really easy to read. And it was fun. I had a great time reading it. And I wish there was more. So yeah, those are my first thoughts. I would love to talk more about these issues and, kind of see what happens.
So I do have a question for you. So luckily, since I read Lemire's run, I kind of had a sense of kind of his mental issues and things he's dealing with. Was that confusing for you at all when they mentioned, because he mentioned his DID, and you see images of him like the coffins in his mind of the other like names of his personalities, and people like go up to him and they're like, "Hey, Mark," and he's like, "No." And they mention it. Was that confusing for you?
No, I think I already knew. I think I already knew about his DID and like his kind of like personality, like split personality disorder thing that he has going on. So no, it really didn't confuse me. But like I said, I kind of want to like see more about like how that affects him and like how that affects like his powers, and because they do talk about it in the book, like how like him being like the fist of a god affected his brain structure. So I think I definitely understood, like I understood enough of it, but I like would like to like gain more clarity on some things.
Yeah, Ted asked a good question, which was already answered by Jaden, but does he have different powers for each personality, like Legion? No, but I'm glad you brought up Legion because I keep comparing the two, since they are two Marvel characters that have like multiple personalities and DID. He's an interesting one because he kind of talks about maybe why he developed DID, or the therapist does, where she's like, I think you did this because you were always running away and wanted to be somebody else because of the things you've gone through. Different trauma in your life, or like dying or being at the war and doing these, unspeakable things that you're trying to make up for. I think it was easier for you to like run into a new personality each time to find ways to make up for everything.
Right. And I think she was actually right in like coming up with that conclusion. I think when he's talking to his friend, her name is, I think, Tigra.
Probably. I mean, she looks like a tiger. I guess she was in the West Coast.
I'm not trying to pronounce that. Yeah. When he's talking to her, he does mention that one of the reasons why he wears a mask is he doesn't want to look at himself in the face, which is really deep.
Oh, it was so sad.
And then you see his face. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that's like a spoiler or like a major.
No,
spoiler.
it's only 5 issues. There's always some
I
spoilers.
I know. Okay. I just know how you are with like trying to prevent like spoilers. So
that's only on Fangirls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it was really sad. I would like to see how something like that translates on screen too. I can imagine it being so emotional, like so hard.
It's perfect for Oscar Isaac, especially like I hope, and we can get into kind of like what we hope from the show based on this, but I will say I do hope that they do honor the DID and that because Oscar Isaacs can act his way out of anything. So I'm sure that he'll be wonderful.
Yeah, he was great
in
Dune. He did a great job in Dune.
Because he's great at everything.
He's great at everything.
Yeah. But I really like the setting for this. For my Buffy fans in the chat, reading this reminded me of Angel a lot because we're in a big city and he works only at night and he's befriended some vampires and he's trying to help regular people. So I was like, and he's broody. and puts everybody else before himself. And I was like, this is Angel. This feels like Angel. But I like characters like that. I think he's an easy archetype to understand and kind of get with, especially when he like explains his origin story of like, you know, working as a mercenary and then dying that way. And it's just trying all this time to make up for it. And even when his god dies, because he mentions that like his god is worthless and like is not worthy of anyone's belief. But when he died, he wanted to make sure that he still carried on like the duty of that like responsibility of that god, because he knows that's the right thing. Even though the god was not a good god, the mission was still good.
Yeah,
and he wants to honor that.
Yeah, I think like there's like this inner conflict between like inside him, like in him, because like you said, he has this duty to kind of like protect people at night. He defends everyone at night. But then he knows, like you said, that this god isn't really the best. He doesn't really, you know, ask him to do the best things. He has to sacrifice things like his daughter, for example, they mention here, which I would also really like to see if they do put that in the show. And I would also like to read more about it, like if they talk about his daughter more and just all that he's had to sacrifice in being Moon Knight. Yeah. I want to read more about that.
Real quick, let me catch up on some chat stuff. Mark just wants to do good, but I was spazzing out on all of his opponents, I can tell. Everyone relates Moon Knight and Batman. Are they really that similar in your opinion? I've never read Moon Knight. I feel like they are, but I think, and that's just from what we've read, but it might come from ignorance also, because every time I finish reading Moon Knight, I just keep thinking, does he have powers? Because I don't think he does. Even though this god has bequeathed him, you know, like he brought him back to life, right? He doesn't really have powers. He just has like an outfit. And then he throws moons, like Batman throws batarangs. So yeah. I don't know.
I thought about that too.
They mention his money.
That did remind me of the batarangs. I don't know. I think some things like that we read in this make me think that he has powers. Like I don't know if he has like I said, some kind of like we were talking about before the show, that he may have like some mind control thing going on. I don't know, maybe not, but it definitely read like that in one of these issues.
Rose, I'm so sorry to hear about your cat. I know it's a rough day for you and everything else you've got going on. So I hope that this at least gives some.
What happened?
Some, you know, happiness and good vibes. I hope it spreads something. Number 4 is my favorite issue so far, and Mark and Tigra's interactions are nice. Also, Tigra is beautiful. She is beautiful. I want to read some of their West Coast Avengers run, because I've only read like the new West Coast Avengers, like the newest one with like, I feel like Gwenpool's in there. I can't remember, but I remember really liking it. Think it was funny, but like I want to read some of the older West Coast Avengers stuff.
Yeah, I like their friendship and their interactions in here in that issue. I think. Like she asks him, like, "You're okay? Something's going on with you. You're not the same person. Why do you have this mask on?" Just like I would like to see some of the past, like their past relationship, like their past friendship, and all the things they've gone through. Yeah, they're really cool. Really
I
cool.
like how playful she is with him.
Yeah.
With vampires in this, any mention of Blade? No, but the minute I saw your comment, then it got me thinking, because Blade is coming back, right? And so we're doing some sort of like Justice League Dark, but Marvel. Is this what this is going to be then with Moon Knight? Is that what's going to lead into that? Because now I'm thinking, because why would you bring in Moon Knight? You have to have a plan. So like it would make sense.
I guess we'll see.
To do some supernatural stuff with Moon Knight and like Blade and the guy from the Eternals movie. I don't know. Does Moon Knight show their butt? 'Cause Moon, get it? Elliot. Let's see. He has shown respect for the friends he has required. I believe the talks with the therapist is a really good view on him, so it doesn't give us this perspective. Yeah, I'm very curious about all of that.
Yeah, I really like this therapist for him. I think she really like hits the nail on the head when she says things. And I think even like him, like he's like, yeah, you know what, you're right, but doesn't really outwardly say that.
Yeah.
So when she tells him, like, I don't think you're being completely honest with me, because like the stresses of DID, they're actually like, they're not really hindering you. I think you're getting used to it, or something like that. Like you're adjusting to it, and it's like, I don't know, helping you maybe in a way. And
Yeah, it's
he's
very
like,
different because like Jeff Lemire's run, he's constantly switching between personalities. He doesn't have a good grasp on like reality. And here it's like, it's almost like he just doesn't allow himself at all, but he's completely stuck in like just
you
this.
don't really see him being many different personalities in this. She's kind of just like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how'd you feel about all the twists in here? I think what I like the most about these, you know, these this first trade, right, is all the kind of twists and turns we go through, since we don't really know until the end, where we have like a cliffhanger for what we read, anyways, of like who's really doing this like overall thing and like why. Because first, you know, you're getting all these different little pieces where somebody's affecting the neighborhood. You know, so there's vampires being brought in, there's people being mind controlled. And at first, we're introduced to the other hand. What are they? Something moon.
The Hunter's Moon.
Yeah, Hunter's Moon. You're introduced to that guy who's like a local doctor and who's like worships the, you know, Konshu. Is that right?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yep, you got it.
I did. Woo. But he's there particularly because he thinks Moon Knight isn't doing what he's supposed to do. And I really thought it was an interesting character because he's supposed to be like Moon Knight's like antithesis, or like the correct Moon Knight. But like he's not really worried about like Moon Knight protecting people the right way they should. Weirdly, because he's the one causing problems. He's more like, oh, you're not using the right flair. You need to be like this instead, which I thought was interesting.
I'm sorry, perfectionist. You know, like he's saying, you don't really fight like you don't fight very nicely. Like it's not, you just fight like an animal. Like there's no like grace to how you fight. And then Moon Knight's like, what is beautiful about this? Like,
yeah, he's like, violence isn't
what is beautiful about this? Like the only thing that he did for me, the only thing that Konshu did for me was giving my life back. You know, there's nothing like beautiful or graceful about this. That whole interaction when they're both fighting was great.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just like, you haven't earned this. You don't know what I've been through.
Yeah.
He's like, don't you have the memories?
Are you priority correct?
And he's like, no.
Yeah. And then he gets like mad at him for protecting vampires, which are supposedly the enemy of Konshu, which is interesting.
Which is hilarious because Homeboy dropped him in there. It's like, I can't believe you're hoarding these vampires. I'm like, you brought them here, my dude. They were living their lives. That girl didn't be a vampire. You did this.
Yeah. You know, speaking of vampires, I really liked Reese. This. I really liked her. I loved her style.
She's cute.
Yeah, she's really cute. And that like she like works for him after he saved her. I think that's so funny. So ironic. So funny.
Well, because she was like, you know, really, I've been made for my schedule to match yours, so it just made sense. I was like, yeah, all right.
And then when
I like their back and forth.
Yeah, and then when she meets Tigra, when Tigra's like calls him Mark, she's like, you have a name? At least, dude.
Yeah, that part's so funny because Moon Knight the whole time is like, no, listen, I don't take the mask off. I don't want to hurt my friends. If they know who I am, it could endanger them. Mm-hmm. And immediately Tigra's like, this dude made a show about Moon Knight. And she's like telling him, he's like, oh my God, these women in my life. Like,
yeah, these horrible women. I have horrible women in my life, something like that. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it was cool.
But yeah, then we have the back and forth because, you know, the Hunter's Moon's like, I didn't do any of this stuff. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So we have the guy who's like mind controlling these people in this apartment building through his sweat. He's put his sweat through the water.
I thought that was so gross. I was
very
like,
interesting ability. And I love that scene because, you know, basically Moon Knight's cornered. And he's like, well, hey, you've got to fight your way out of here then. How many people are you going to kill? Innocent people are being mind controlled just to get out of here. And so Moon Knight was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll taste your sweat. I'll do it. You can step in my mind, whatever. You're not gonna like it there.
And
though.
then I like how he takes this way. He takes one of his like little moon. What do you call them? What do you call this?
Moonerings.
He like gives it to him. Like, okay, here, put some on here for me. Like, it's just so weird. Just the images of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that whole interaction too. It's like, and you kind of see this man just. He's like, I don't know if he's hallucinating. I don't know if he's delirious or.
Well, I think like
yeah.
They described his powers as like once his sweat is in them,
through their eyes,
he
right?
can, yeah. So he can
there.
basically see all their minds and kind of tap
Right.
into that. And you know, Mark is like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've dealt with DID people. You can handle that. But I have a god in my mind. Get ready. And it's like this eldritch horror stuff.
Yeah.
He was very cool. I wish he looked like that in real life. Because he's just a regular dude. I guess. I'm so confused, guys.
And then after he was like knocked out or like unconscious.
Is Moon Knight going to be a regular dude always? What does it mean?
Yeah.
Why does he not look like
more.
a regular dude?
I want to read him more and I want to watch the show. I want to see if that will really help me figure out this character a little bit more. Because I'm very intrigued.
It's just weird because, yeah, Konshu gives him powers. Or Konshu is like chooses him. Why would your god not bestow upon you abilities? I know that there used to be more powers now, and there's not really now.
Yeah.
In the story, but it just feels like a weird backstory though.
I think he has something. He has some kind of ability. I think something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just the ability of sight to like recognize supernatural things. I don't know, but
yeah, you make a good point. Like, why would you like make this guy kind of be your, like your tool to like your I don't know, your advocate to like destroy evil, but you're not giving him any other like power. Is it just to bring him back to life?
I think so, yeah.
Is that it? Like
I think that is what it is now.
I don't know.
Mark will always be a regular person because that's how he relates to people the most, which makes sense. And I think that as a character makes sense. And I like that, like, you could say that he has a Batman personality without like leaning on the Batman like lair and things. He prefers to like live amongst the people and be there. Currently is what I'm seeing. And he's not happy like Green Arrow is, who's also a very similar background, like non-powered vigilante. He's interesting.
Yeah, and I think in here, he's always saying like, oh, I've done really bad things to bad people, and he has like this guilt, this like it's like a reoccurring thing that he has like this guilt, and I wonder how that like is affected or how that affects his DID. Like, okay, maybe he wants to kind of like get away from the trauma that he's felt. But yeah, it's like, when you see him kind of like fighting these guys, these villains or like, these people that he has to fight. And then you kind of see him talk to Tigra. He's like, I just don't want to see myself. I don't want to like, acknowledge who I am.
Spectre is very much a slave to Konshu, controlled by his violence to addiction. He's a victim, but he also tries to be a hero. Or his addiction to violence. That's a very perfect way of saying that. Because I think, you have a character who, went through something traumatic in the war as a mercenary. And I think that's his language, as we see a lot of like male characters in comic books, especially if they're written by Tom King. And I think like, yeah, and I think this Rick's comment goes great with Scott's because Mark's really done some PTSD-ridden things. Absolutely. That is a man who's very much struggling, who has a lot of trauma, and definitely, I think that gets in the way of like the way he communicates with others too. Like and people might get mad at this, but I don't care. I saw a really good like theory about Batman once that I think kind of applies to Mark too in a way, but Mark's different because of the DID. But there was an autistic TikTok creator that was talking about how they felt like Batman was autistic because like him being Bruce Wayne is him masking. That's him trying really hard to be something else. And him being Batman is himself, which is like the lack of emotional intelligence, the way that he he just walks away in the middle of conversations when he's done. His special interest of fighting crime and his like the way that he sees things. And I thought that was really interesting. Like being a neurodivergent person, I kind of see that in both of them, where they kind of they talk differently to people. But also PTSD is similar to ADHD. Anyways, this isn't about mental health podcast.
Yeah,
but
I think that was a really good insight, though.
I think everybody's got a really good like I don't know, view of this character.
Yeah, really good opinions we can like build off of or talk more about.
Who pays for Moonlight's cleaning / laundry bills? Getting blood out of white is very hard. He's got a lot of money, as we learned in this book.
Oh yeah, I know.
But he also lost a bunch of
Got
it.
millions.
Because he's like, oh man, he had a good moment. Because the guy's like, I'm still taking your money, it's still going away. And he's like, priests shouldn't be wealthy, or like wealthy priests aren't good, or something.
Oh, like when have you ever heard of like a
yeah.
Oh, wealthy priests be good or something like that.
And as a Catholic, I'm like, yeah, that's yeah.
Like, okay, take my money, whatever you need. I mean, just stop.
I think it was Spider-Man Renew Your Vows that raised the question of whether or not people like Daredevil and Moon Knight count as superheroes. It is interesting because think about it too. They hired a therapist for him that specializes in superheroes and super ability, right? Mm-hmm. But he is not technically a super powered individual. I think Daredevil counts as a superhero because he does have abilities. I mean, I know that's a trained sense and things, but at the same time, I think you could count that as being better than average. Mm-hmm. But yeah, with Batman too, he's not like a super powered individual, but we still count him. Oh, and no wealthy priest has ever been good. Yeah. Bruce Wayne might not necessarily be autistic, but he does have PTSD since he was a child. And that's always interesting because like, and I've been exploring this a lot since I got my ADHD diagnosis, but a lot of it's very similar between that and PTSD. It's CPTSD. So a lot of the things are like mirrored. Mm-hmm. Matt Murdock is the superhero. DD is just the costume. I like that.
Me too.
Oh man, what else?
Let's see.
I love the twist at the end. Because you don't know who's betraying him.
Right.
And so I'm curious where that goes.
You know, what I was like curious about, and this could have been obvious, I could have just missed it. In the beginning, when he kills the 2 vampire guys, I think in the beginning, and then you just kind of see their skulls on the floor. Is that what you see? How did that happen?
I don't know. Dust.
How did that like happen?
It depends on how vampires work here. I don't know.
What did he do to them?
If you stab him in the chest,
you
maybe
see him crash into their car.
The flesh goes away.
I guess maybe. I don't know. I wanted clarity on that. Like, how did that happen?
I guess we can. I mean, the art was really good. I don't have any other really points to make other than that, I guess.
Oh, I remember one thing. I really liked when the therapist tells him, like, can you stop talking to me like you're a comic book character? Like, I feel offended. That was fun.
Just talk to me.
That was funny.
You have to take the mask and
Stop trying to like hide, you know, what you're
talk to me like a normal person. We have to watch the Blade trilogy so you can catch up. I've never seen it. We haven't read issue 6 because that was on Marvel Unlimited yet. And your girl has to save money this month.
Yeah, I just
never mind. Yeah, they do reveal it's Zodiac at the end. But we didn't know the guy who is Zodiac.
There are a lot of twists as to like who did this. Like first it was framed to be, I think his name was Soldier, who worked for Hydra, right? They thought and then Moon Knight was like, Terry? He's like, there was no Terry. I'm Zodiac. Like
also Roberto, should we know Zodiac from other things? I'm just going to trust you forever about other comic book knowledge I don't have. I'm just going to be like, Roberto, where are you? Please tell me. Because I don't know him. Also, everybody just has weird masks on their head. That's like full. I guess that's the thing. Joe asked if it's right after Lemire. Scott was right. It's after the Bemis run. So I still need to read the Bemis run, but I read Lemire's.
So Lemire's is before this one.
Yeah, Lemire, then Bemis,
before. Okay.
But I think Lemire's run is right after Warren Ellis's, maybe, which I'll never read.
I want to check out Jeff Lemire. His run.
The art is so
cool. He's a great author.
He is. I mean, and it was really good. I was confused, and I left it being like.
Do you think after reading this, I would be like a little bit less confused? Like if you were to go back and read it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Because I went into that being like really confused because he starts out like in a mental hospital in that one. And I'm like, ugh. Okay, Zodiac is a West Coast Avengers villain. Okay. I'd like to read some West Coast Avengers. I've only read the new stuff, but if anyone thinks I'd like the older stuff, let me know what would be a good one to read because I'm curious. My father's God took us out of Egypt. My new God has kept us there. Man, okay, we should talk about that issue.
Powerful
and I feel like I can only talk so much because I don't know a lot about Judaism besides what is a shared thing between our two religious cultures. It was so interesting, the back and forth, because he talks about his father, who is a rabbi. And by the way he was raised and like the way his father treated him, kind of, he didn't understand his reference for his God. Because he's like, like we went through all these things, these awful hardships our people did. And yet they're like, no, but our best thing about us is our loyalty and how we stuck through it with our God. And like, but he's like, why? He's an absent God. He didn't do anything for you. So when Konshu comes up, he's like, yeah, of course I chose this guy. But then I realized later, after going through all of this and my father's, passed away and I killed my brother, which did not have time to unpack.
Right. Wait, what? Did what?
He's like, well, so on. He's like, now I see my father was the brave person because even when if this happened to him, he would have just died. Because that's how brave he is. That's how much he trusted him, which is true. Because basically he threw away his own God from like growing up to like run into Konshu's arms, who ended up being very similar. Definitely betrayed him and all of that. Ugh. Chef's kiss.
And so in that interaction, his therapist also says, like, I can't really blame you for wanting to live your life, wanting to live. At the end of, I think at the end of that encounter, she says, I can't blame you for wanting to live, even though he was kind of questioning his choices and his decisions. Yeah. You can skip past the Ellis run. You get all you need from the Lemire run. That's what I like to hear. I do want to read Max Bemis's, though. So the OG West Coast Avengers is a fun read with great Moon Knight moments, but fleshes out other characters as well. I'm very interested. The last West Coast Avengers run was okay. I didn't like it like others liked it, but just didn't do much for me personally. I had fun with it, but it was just goofy, which is fun. All right, well, if you have nothing else, let's rate it and then just chill with the chat. Okay, sounds good. I'm leaning towards like a 7, but I think it's just because it's not done. Yeah, it's kind of hard to rate something so soon like this. But it's good. I mean, it's definitely. Yeah, I like it. But I definitely would read more if there was more on the app. I would definitely read more. Yeah. I think like a 7.5. I like it. I think 7.5. Like I think that's good. Yeah. Because it's like I think anything, because we're still not like completely like understanding everything that's going on because we're only on like the 6th issue. So I think when we read more, we can then rate it more accurately, but I think 7.5. I think it's ongoing still. I mean, I may be wrong. Somebody else in chat probably knows better than me, but as far as I know, this one's still ongoing. There's only 11 issues out right now, so beans out of 10. Thanks, Elliot. You didn't read it. Why is it beans? Well, now let's chill with the chat time. Chat, I have a question for you. I obviously have not set up the Patreon vote for next week.
But I wanted to do one on like best comic book weddings and have people vote between those. So I would love to get any recommendations, especially recommendations that are on DC Universe or Marvel Unlimited, because they are readily available to me. So if you have any recommendations for what I can like, and even if you can give exact issues, that'd be great. I'd love if you could give me some recommendations to put in the Patreon vote so I can get that done.
That sounds
That would
fun.
be great.
I would love to read something. The wedding. That sounds so much fun.
Do it. I met Jed MacKay last Sunday at Toronto Comic Con. Awesome. We talked about Moon Knight for 20 minutes. That's so cool. Tom King Batman is what you should not do. You know I won't, because that's my villain origin story. The rant I had at the Batcat wedding, I wish I still had those, like, because I used voice chat for all of them because I was on the road and I was like, can you fucking believe? I was just losing it. I was so pissed. Renew Your Vows, the Fantastic Four wedding, Spider-Man and MJ marriage. I had a few recommendations for that. Roberto, I'm never going to do Dark Phoenix Saga, and you know that. I did it once. I gave it a 4, and that was being generous.
Yeah, I wanted to read something X-Men. I just don't know what, because there's so many things out.
No, don't worry. You're going to join me this year. But you have to. We should probably do it this summer. Okay. When your semester's done, because it had to be all of it.
Okay.
So maybe like June, July.
Right. I'll check it out.
But definitely Wolverine the X-Men.
It's so.
You're reading it with me, of course. No.
Cool. I'm down.
I planned it.
I'm down.
I thought. Oh, well. Okay. So the Batcat wedding was the original one, Jaden. Okay. And I was like, man, that Tom King, I'm so mad. But then Heroes in Crisis happened. So it got worse, you know? Yeah, I love Jason Aaron so much. He's great.
I have yet to read him, but I want to.
From the Rise of Silver Surfer movie. What? Didn't Deadpool get wed with a demon one time? Okay, I'm gonna. That sounds great. I need to read some anyway. So
interesting. Let me look that up.
Damn, I was gonna recommend Hawks and Pox, but you're gonna make her read an Omni. Okay, but Wolverine the X-Men's quick. We can still read Hawks Pox later this year. I need to finish it anyways. But
right now, what were you saying? Sorry,
no, nothing. Go.
I'm actually reading the Gail Simone Batgirl Returns, the new 52. I'm actually almost done with it.
Yes.
I liked it that much, and I want to read more Omnis, and that I think that'll be like my second one. So I'm almost done. But
I will have tons.
Yeah, more Omnis on the list for sure.
Sweet. Well, definitely this one, probably June, because I can read an Omni quickly, but I don't want to put that on anybody else. I've been trying to be better about giving people shorter reads. Because I'm like, oh, you want to read an Omni next week? I'm like, yeah, I'll get it done this weekend. Or like the night before.
I think I would too. I think definitely if there was an incentive, like, okay, we're talking about it for the show, I think I could definitely get it done.
Thank you, JT. The wedding of Deadpool is that sounds great though. Has there been any gay or non-binary weddings? In the big two? There's been some, right? Somebody got married.
I don't know.
I don't remember who, because whatever it is, it's not a big two I've read. But I could definitely, if there's like a good, I'm trying to think of like weddings that happen in like non-big two comic books, and I can't think of any, even in like other, like a ton of stuff I've read. No. Maddie, have you read the current Black Widow? I have not. But I'm always open for recommendations. You can always shoot me a message on like Twitter or whatever. Yeah, didn't Wiccan and Hulking? Yeah, Wiccan and Hulking did. Okay, Hayden, can you help me figure out which issues of that to read so I can put it up? That would be great. Is there a Ralph and Sue wedding? I would love that. Are there any ace heroes? I'm curious about that too. I'm sure there's some asexual heroes. I don't know if any of them have stated that. because I don't know of any in the big two that I could immediately say were. I feel like I have a better feel for that in like comic book or manga, like One Piece. I'm like, yeah, that character's definitely asexual, but I haven't seen anybody here that like I've. I say this as somebody who is ace. Yeah, Elliot is always looking for any asexual or demisexual characters in anything always, because there's me who's just like, two women talk to each other. I'm like, ooh, they're in love, and Elliot's like, can't they just be friends? Can't just anybody just be friends? And I'm like,
yeah, I think
no.
I'm not like that too. I'm like, ooh, what's going on between them? It's like they're just friends. Relax. Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, it's getting spicy. And Elliot's like, I can see that these two people are attracted to each other. Yes.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I do that too.
Mystique and Destiny at least were. Okay, Empire number 5. Okay, so if I put that up for Patreon, should we include like the stuff leading up to that? I've never read Empire. I don't even know what's in that. Rats, I'm an hour late and $1 short. Well, where's my $1? It costs $3 to get in here. You only have 2? Man. Oh, you know what? I think Nadia Van Dyne is asexual. Man, I want you to read Unstoppable Wasp.
You always talk about it, so I'm gonna have to.
Is this person attractive? Why, yes, I see a conventionally attractive person. Wow, that's Elliot. And there's me, who's just like horny on Maine. Somebody's gonna clip that. It's just like, look at this lady with the muscles. What gay ships in comics would you make canon? She-Hulk and Wonder Woman. I want to cross the big 2. That's what I want. Clip it. So, Gabby.
Yes.
I know you're busy with school. What else have you been reading or watching? What's happening in Gabby's life?
Watching. Honestly, I don't really play anything because I guess I try to be a gamer. More of a board gamer, but like whenever I play video games, I just get very discouraged with myself and like I get very angry. I just want to win. And I have to like take my time with it and just kind of like, I don't know, be zen. Reading, okay, right now. Okay.
Oh, real quick, are you going to Gen Con 2 with your dad?
No.
Why?
I don't know. It's not really my thing, Maddie.
But I'm going to be there.
I know.
If I go, will you go?
We'll see.
Think about
it. I'll try to make it happen. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
I think you'd like it with me. We can play Mall Madness. And we can do an escape room.
Game.
We can go drinking.
I did one. I only did one. And it was very it was something else. It was very stressful. Not stressful, but like it was fun, but
Elliot, I want to hang out with Gabby. Don't you understand?
When are you coming to New York, Maddie? Come soon.
I know. I want to. Once it's safer.
Yeah.
Because this year I'm going to New York Comic Con. Real quick, I want to shout out my new friend, Rox Reeves, if he's still here. I found his Twitch channel last week. He was playing Suikoden 2, which is my favorite JRPG. And since then, we've been like talking, hanging out, and you should follow his Twitch. Anyways, a quick shout out. Maddie, peer pressure? I'm always peer pressure. That's my middle name. Because it's 2 words. Have you been watching anything new or?
What have I been watching? this is gonna sound crazy, but I literally just watched The Dark Knight for the first time. I know.
I think I saw you post that.
I know. And that was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. As far as shows, I'm actually looking for a good show to watch that like I look forward to just watching when I get out of school. Something I can watch every day, like and binge.
Yeah.
I haven't really found that yet. I'm excited for Moon Knight. I watch all the Marvel shows. Yeah, I've been really reading Batgirl like a lot. I really like it.
I'm so excited. I hope that you keep going.
Yeah, I'm almost done with
that,
it. There's no way it's
I know Cameron Stewart or whatever, you know, but go ahead and read that too. I know your dad has the omnibus.
Yeah.
And then, just for me, please read the Rebirth stuff. I know other people don't care about it.
I want to. I want to.
I like it.
I really like her as a character, and I would like to read more of her.
Plus,
it's a lot of
there's the
fun.
Batgirl, but there's also Batgirl in Birds of Prey. So she hangs out with Huntress and Black
that
Canary.
one's also on my list too.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, there's so many things to read.
So fun. Roberto's been reading Deadly Class. I want to give that another try. Because the show didn't get me, the book
just
didn't
bought
get
that. We have that.
I need to try it again.
It looks cool. Anything assassin related, I'm so into.
Oh man, I also do you have Apple Plus?
No, I don't have that. I have everything else though.
I just got it. I canceled Disney for a little bit just to watch stuff in there.
What are you watching
the
on
sci-fi
there?
show Foundation. I watched all of Ted Lasso, which is perfect. It's the perfect show. And Severance, but oh my god, Foundation. It's a sci-fi show. It's so good. It's so good.
Really?
Yes. Of course. Read the current Tom Taylor Nightwing Maddie. Batgirl stuff in it is awesome. I do want to read that because I've heard some very, very good things.
I started reading that, and then I guess I haven't kept up with it, but I want to wait, I guess, until everything's out. And then just
I think I like to have it all
like that.
Yeah,
but it's good. It was really good.
Lohit, do you read any of the? Should I read any Isaac Asimov? Because I want to kind of after watching that show, but I don't want to ruin anything for me. Oh yeah, there's that new HBO show, Our Flag Means Death. Everyone's talking about it. Minx just started. It's really good. About a feminist who teams up with the publisher to make the first women's erotic magazine. Ooh. I'm in.
That's cool.
I'm in. I'll watch it. Maddie peer pressures me to buy bad Buffy collected editions. No, I don't. I tell you. You do that on your own. I talk about them.
Don't blame me.
And then I read them, and they're bad. But
what are you reading, Maddie? What are you reading?
Not a lot right now because I'm so busy.
Right.
But like I said, I watched Foundation and was obsessed. I've been reading a lot of webtoons because that's easy for me to do, like at work or between things. I've been playing a lot of games. So this month we played through Inscription, which I think your dad would like because it's like a deck building game. And Divinity or Original Sin 2, which is like D&D but a video game. So, and Horizon Zero Dawn, which I finished. But it's been mostly kind of little things.
Mm-hmm.
Like just random. Yeah. I'm watching a lot of YouTube right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just easy.
I know. I like YouTube. I watch it more than I watch TV.
Yeah, lately I've been watching so many just commentary videos on things. Like, I won't watch the show they're talking about. I'll watch them talk about their show. Like, Love is Blind, because I'm a...
Oh, my God. Did you watch the second season?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the finale. I watched
somebody else talk about it. I thought the season was a hot mess. Like, what is going on?
Hot mess. And I'm watching Love is Blind Japan right now.
Ooh.
It's very
good. There are a lot of different ones, I think. More than just the...
Ooh, I want to read Money Shot. I want to read that. Perhaps you all could give some recommendations for Gabby for omnibuses to read. Because your summer's coming up.
I would love that.
You should just fill it with books.
I have a pen and paper right here. So
read all of Batgirl, of course.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of. Have you read Super Sons?
No, but I want to read that after I read Superman Rebirth.
Oh, that's also good.
I feel like that would make more sense.
I loved all the beginning of Rebirth stuff is so good to me. To me, that's my like perfect age DC. And since then, they just disappointed me. But But oh man, beginning Rebirth DC. It's just so beautiful. Everyone's so full of hope. Oh, and then they had Wally West kill my husband. So everything went down.
How could they? How could they?
What kind of story are you looking for?
I don't know. Okay, I mean, my weakness is like a good, like just badass women, any kind of badass woman. Something that's like, I love reading dark things, but I love when it's like, whenever there's humor in it is really good. Like it's good humor. What else? Yeah, I'm pretty open to anything, honestly.
All right.
I think I'm pretty open-minded.
Well, they give us a lot of options. James said Miss Marvel Omnibus Volume 1,
I've
which you'll have
already
to
read
read. Good. You'll be prepped for the show.
Yeah.
I Zomni Omnibus. I haven't read that either. I watched the show. You know what? We'll do that for you, Roberto, because I trust you. You recommended this.
Yeah, I hear good things about this,
So I will add
write that.
Kelly Thompson's Black Widow to one of these months, maybe next month.
Okay. I would like to read that.
Oh no, my cursor went away. I can't. Oh, it's dead. That's why.
Oh no, what are we gonna do?
I was like, oh shit. Wait, is this? Sorry guys, let me awkwardly like. Oh no. Hey Elliot, can you bring me a double A battery so I can click comments? Oh wait, I'll use his. 1 second.
Okay.
Please address the chat for me.
Okay. So yeah, I would love to read Kelly Thompson's Black Widow. I don't really know, like I don't think I've ever read her in a comic before. I've just seen the movie interpretations of her. But yeah, I would really like to read that. Anything with like assassins, just badassery, I'm down.
And I always trust Kelly Thompson. She's one of those names that I know I'm safe with.
Right.
Which I think is a big deal. Like if Gail Simone's on a thing, I'm like, yeah, okay, we're good. Same with like Jeff Lemire. There's just certain people I'm like, yeah, they're gonna take care of me.
Yeah, I really like her Batgirl, so I may have to check out more of her stuff.
Oh, have you read Wonder Woman yet? Gail Simone's Wonder Woman?
I didn't. I actually kind of like, I was reading it and then I kind of stepped away from it.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on. But maybe I'll go back to that. But I think reading Batgirl really sold me on her.
I now have access again. Read Black Hammer, all of it. I really, really want to. That's Lemire. I mean, you and I both need to read it.
Okay.
It's like, imagine like the Justice League, but they got sent to like a middle of nowhere, like rural area, and they're stuck there. They can't leave. That's basically Black Hammer. Oh my gosh. You're right, Elliot. Gail Simone's read Sonya. Now that is a badass woman. I never thought I'd read Red Sonya. And then I read Gail Simone's Red Sonya because her name was on it. It's beautiful. Right. So good.
Yeah, I feel like I hear you talk about that a lot too. Like that
one of my
and
wives.
Inevitable Wasp for sure. Those are your two faves.
Yeah, Kristen could be our old reader for Black Hammer. I would recommend Valiant Comics pre-2019. There's something for just about anyone. I don't know if I've read any Valiant. Oh, yeah, Lady Killer.
I read that.
Oh, so good. Just finished the Unbelievable Unteens today by Lemire. It was good, but Tyler Crook's arc makes this good. I've never heard of that. I love everything Red Sonja, as you should. You've read Saga, right?
No, I have not.
Oh man, I feel like that's kind of nowadays. I feel like Saga is like required reading.
Okay. I do have
Everyone loves it.
Yeah.
And anyone I hand it to, even like new readers, all love it.
That's an essential pick.
Well, we're getting about time. I will figure out the Patreon thing tomorrow so it can post. And have that voted on by, I don't know, Friday or so I can ask somebody to join me. Or Gabby, if you're free, you want to join me on Tuesday?
Always.
Okay,
Whatever
done.
you need me, Maddie.
To read thing. And if y'all want to see me again, I'll be live on Omnibus Collectors Network on Sunday at 6 p.m. talking about One Piece. So, but I really appreciate everybody being here. There's been so many people here hanging out, and it's just nice. You always brighten my day. And Gabby, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Always
you, everyone.
lovely seeing you. I hope you all have a good night.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Have a good night.